Well, this is different for me. Hello, fellow vapors. Vaping Newbie here. We're going to be talking about three things today. One is the Cleito 120, some e-juice, the Rude Boy e-juice line, or at least one of the juices from Rude Boy e-juice line, Economyecigs, and a movement. Now, I'm going to be speaking slowly because when I first watched the video, I want to make sure my thoughts are well heard. Okay, we're going to start with the movement. The Canadian Vaping Association, or CVA, is a community of people that are leading the battle against unjust laws up here in Canada. Now, you might be watching this from a different country and thinking, okay, Canada, don't worry. It's going to come to you if it hasn't already. But this in particular is shout out to Canadians. Sweeping across the country is just some really, really bad legislation. And the CVA is put together to fight that and fight it legally. Not, it's great to have a protest, but it really doesn't get you anywhere. It has to be done in the courts and through government. And what they're doing is trying to gather that information to lead the fight. But they need our help. The CVA is funded from vendors. Vendors are members of the CVA. They proudly post it on their websites, and they donate fees, if you will, to the CVA that create a bank for all the lawyers that are needed to make the fight, to fight the fight. And perhaps you and I can help out and build that bank. The link for the website is down below. And, a 20, 30, 50, $100 donation can go a long way if everybody's able to pitch in. And I particularly want to give a shout out to everything that they're doing for here in Quebec, because it is ridiculously bad here in Quebec, okay? But it is what it is. It is the law. We try to abide by it and then let the CVA fight the fight. So I want to thank them as a group. I know a couple of people that are in it, but I don't know the whole, so I'd rather not single out anybody. But thank you very much for the fight. And folks, if you find it within your power, send them off a donation. There is a link on their website just for that reason. Become a member of the CVA. Okay? I'll get off my soapbox now. It's just something I believe in. The next step is Economyecigs. My friends Laura and Wayne at Economyecigs. They make some of the best juice that I enjoy. I mean, I have roughly 5 vendors that I go to for juice, 5 or 6 vendors, and they are one of them definitely. I've never had a bad juice. Today I'm using Money Shot. They have oodles. They just came out with, I think they call it Potion Lizard line. So it's developing slowly, which I like. They're not trying to rush anything in, and they come out with really good flavors. And the last one that I knew before they came out with Potion was Money Shot, which is the one, as I say, I'm going to be using tonight. Down below is their Facebook page as well, the link to their Facebook page. And they posted a deal, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, where if you bought 140 or 120 milliliter bottles of juice, I'm not sure. It's either 120 or 140. If you bought 2 of those, and they're $55 each, so their price is really good. They were going to throw in a Crown too. I have 2 Crown tanks, so like, yeah, it's nothing new, and I backed off it. Well, last week the deal was you buy 2 bottles of juice, the 120 or 140 milliliter, and you get a Cleito 120. And I went, I don't own one of those, and I sort of I'm trying to stay away from buying hardware now because it just got out of hand. But when it's part of a deal where it's given to you, why not? And then you want to see, is it worth it? Well, we'll talk about whether it's worth it, but just for the sake of their juice, you're going to want to take a look. So join up their Facebook page, find out what the deals are, take a look through their website. They do have hardware. They have some nice hardware, but for me, it was always about the juice. So take a look. But tonight, we're going to be talking about that Cleito 120 that I got. So vape mail, I love it. It's not often I get it anymore, but when it comes in, it makes me happy, happy, happy. So let's start talking about the Cleito 120 from Aspire. Okay, the Aspire Cleito 120. Open up the box. Now this little fold over, very similar to the Cleito. A warranty card, basically Aspire Cleito 120 rating and usage reminder. That's pretty good. It says that even though it's rated at 120, it can easily go to 160 watts. So take it and leave it. In the box, you get a Aspire vape band. What is that? We fight to vape, and that's no truer now than ever before. You get a spare, a crystal tank, or not crystal, a glass tank, very important. You get a spare coil head, and there's the Cleito. We're going to take a closer look at that later, but I want to specifically, now hopefully I can zoom in on this, specifically show you the coil head, so please bear with me. This gives you a really good idea of the coil head. You see the protrusions that are coming out in the middle. Now, going at very high wattage, there's always a risk of spitback, and this is made to aid you in that. So it'll decrease the amount of spitback you get on the juice. So I think that's a really good idea, but it's just a monstrous size coil head. It's just monstrous. So that's it. That's what's inside the box. Lots of little goodies, and let's go back and take a look at the tank now. Okay, so here's the tank, and we'll start down below. Whoops. So you have the Cleito 120. It has it looks to be a brass-coated 510 connection. You have on the bottom your airflow, 2 airflow holes, 1 on each side. There's a slight knurling. I don't know if you can pick that up. It's slight, and there is no stoppage. There is no clicking. It'll just keep spinning around and around. So you're going to have to keep an eye on that. Oops. There are actually 3 air holes. There's 1, 2, and then 3. And when I was first looking at it, I guess the light wasn't right. My eyes were tired. But when I did this, you can see the air coming out of 3 different directions, and I was trying to figure out how the hell that was. And when I took a closer look with cleaner glasses, I noticed a 3rd air hole. So I'm sorry about that. It's actually 3 air holes. Then, of course, you have your large glass tank. You have 2 top. Well, you have a top ring and a top cap. Let's do it that way. I should have mentioned that it is 25 millimeters in diameter. So we're going to see how that fits on one of my mods. Going back to the top, you have a top cap, which when it's unscrewed, you'll note, first of all, there is a very large O-ring that's attached to it. However, the only downside that I have is it's a proprietary drip tip. There is no changing it. There's no adapter. You cannot use yours. It is what it is. It's the way it's made. And then you have a secondary ring, and you can see there's a fill port right there, and that's how you can get your juice in. And again, you can look right down the coil. You see those things jutting out to stop the spit back. So I think it's really well put together. Everything is very smooth. You take out that O-ring, or I'm sorry, that top ring. You pull off the glass, and you access your coil head. Before you start, you want to really liquid up these coils. Just get some liquid in here. We're going to show you that in a moment. And these say, now hopefully I can get this that you can see it. There it is. These coil heads are 0.16 ohms, and they're rated at 1 to 120 watts. That paper said 160, but it is. I think I'm going to have a hard time with 120, to be honest with you. There is a massive O-ring right here on the bottom. That is what holds the glass, and on the top of the coil head are the threads that everything screws back into. So it makes a nice little package. So far, the only thing, and I haven't used this yet. You can see it's brand new. The only thing that I have a hard time with right now is this proprietary drip tip. I like to use my own. We'll see how that goes, but it is all made in Delrin, and that's to stop the heat. So we're going to see how well that works. So that's it. That's the Cleito 120. Let's get some juice in it and take it for a ride. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to get some juice in here. So we're going to take off that complete top cap, remove the crystal, and I got some, this is called money shot. Rude Boy line from Economyecigs. I love this. We're going to touch on that a bit. I think I might have done a video on this. But all I'm doing is I'm just putting some juice right where the cotton is, and then I'll put maybe 5 or 6 drops inside it. You really want the coils to be well liquored up, as they say. You put your everything back together, and I'm just going to put that aside. But first, of course, I'll fill it, and I'm going to do it the traditional way. I'll just remove that Delrin cap, and then get some juice in here. Unfortunately, right away I find that I may be losing a bit of juice because maybe I'm just trying too fast. The juice hole in it, it's just not big, and you know, a lot of the bottles I use, so unless you have the dripper type, you're going to waste some juice, and that's too bad because this juice is just awesome. So there you go, got some juice in it. Let's get, I'm going to get it cleaned up, get it on the mod, and we'll take it for a spin. I'm back. I put it on my Wisemic RX200. I have it at 120 watts. I found it's hot. I just found it really hot. Now I'm not used to that. I vape when I'm using a dripper. I'm in the 60-65 watt range. When I'm using my crown tank, I'm in the 45 to 52 watt range. So 120 watts is way high for me. And you know, part of why you do this is the enjoyment of it, and that's just not enjoyable. So I'm dropping this down to 90 and see what that's like. It is registering at 0.15. So even though the coil head said 0.16, it's registering 0.15. So I'm not going to sue anybody over that. I'm enjoying the flavor. It's just the heat. Maybe I'm just not a person that likes that hot of vape. I'm going to drop it down to 75, and let's see. The 75 works really well. It doesn't look bad. I mean, the color scheme just isn't there. But if I take this and put it in my Wisemic press up, my Wisemic pen, I make a good product. So there I have it on the Wisemic press. It looks a bit better. And again, the size is not an issue. There is absolutely zero overhang on this mod. It does have really nice flavor. I'm absolutely surprised at that. So let me wrap up, and I'm going to come back with my final thoughts. Okay, again, I want to just finish up some house cleaning. It does hold 4 milliliters of e-juice, and it's, as I mentioned, it's 25 millimeters wide at the base and about 58 millimeters high. My final thoughts on it is I really want to split that in half. First, if you're new to the low resistance, high wattage vape scene, you want to keep a couple things in mind. If you're for this particular tank, if you do not have a device that goes over 70 watts, it's not going to be that great an experience. I found that anything under that, it took too much effort to get a muted flavor. Also, you have to get used to using more juice and more batteries. Naturally, you're going to be vaping at higher wattages, so you're going through batteries, and it does burn off juice quite quick. And you're going to want to consider dropping your nick level because it can hit you like a truck. I heard mention that they're coming out with an RVA section. Quite frankly, I don't see the point. And if you want to build a sub-ohm tank, there's so many good choices out there. This tank, to me, in my opinion, is made to just slap in a coil and off you go. I love the fact that it fits into a rotation, and this goes into my final thoughts. Pardon me. I use a crown tank as my daily tank, and I use a dripper for the most part. When I'm out and about, it's usually the crown tank. But lately, I've been traveling a lot with the dripper. This sort of meets that sort of halfway. You don't get the pure flavor of a dripper, but it's better flavor than the crown. And again, you put in 4 milliliters, it'll last you a little while. When I first got it, now the first half of this video before the final thoughts, it was brand new out of the box. And in that instance, I put in about I'd say about 2 milliliters of juice. I went through about an hour or so, and that's using different machines as well. So it gives you a rough idea. However, I can't find the negative. I really can't. I do like the tank very much. I wanted to dislike the drip tip, but I don't. It's actually pretty good. It has good airflow. It has very good flavor. And it was mentioned to me by Wayne from Economyecigs. Excuse me. Wait till it breaks in a bit. Well, a few days after the fact, he's right. The flavor just intensified. It was really, really good. So again, you get this on Economyecigs for about $35. Well worth it. Go take a look. Again, website down below. And follow them on Facebook because you never know what they might pull off. No pressure, Wayne and Laura. So, if you're asking me, is it worth it? Definitely. Again, it comes in stainless steel and black. I actually like the black because I think it goes really good with my Pressma. So that's going to be the machine for that tank. It may be a tad wide for my cuboid. It might get an overhang. Definitely too big for my Pico. It would go well on the RX, but I like it on the Pressma. I'm going to try to keep that going. So that's it. I do want to touch on a couple other things before I wrap up. The e-juice, in this case, it's called Money Shot, and it's a strawberry and cream cheese icing mix, and it's really good. It became one of my favorites, and Wayne always gives the credit to his wife Laura, who's the chef of their e-juice. Never had a bad e-juice for them. I have 2 other bottles that one I broke open last night, and that is Smack Talk, which is a lemon cookie. Oh, so good. And the other is Heartbreaker, which is like a apple turnover. Very, very nice. So they have some fantastic juice. They just came out with a new line. I think it's called Potion Wizards. That was tasty. So please check them out. I think you might be wildly surprised. These small vendors that do not have massive followings are coming out with some really good stuff. And Economyecigs, for me, is right up there at the top. So that's it. The last thing I want to talk about again is the CVA. Let's see what you can do to help out the CVA, help us. Lawyers' fees don't come cheap, and the fight must continue. So I want to thank again the members of the CVA, everything that they do, and the vendors that participate with that. Thank you for keeping it going, because it's your fees that help so much. So that's it. I hope you got something out of this video. Again, the Cleito 120, very, very good. Thanks for dropping by, because you know I love having you over. Please stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.